Guys, welcome to, I'm losing track of what number this is. I think this is game 6 on Turbine between Khala and Scan. Scan starting at the 6 o'clock spawn with the red Terran, upper right-hand corner of Khala as the gray Protoss. Invisible men, declares chat. So if all else fails, you can always go DT. Actually, I'd like to see more DT action on this map if we see it played further, because I feel like, yeah, either that or maybe going for a gateway, an earlier gateway of some sort to get a front door block to at least deny scouting information to the Terran opponent. Something along those lines, even if there's a Nexus being taken behind that. Because otherwise it just feels like you just give up way too much scouting information with that 12 Nexus. And you just don't have enough information with your... I don't know, it just feels like there's too much informational loss. It's like if there was like I almost feel like if there's a scale or like a bar where it's like information win, it's like early game information with the 12 Nexus build is just huge in Terran's favor. Huge. Like a little scale tipping over. I don't even know what would represent information there. Maybe some papers or like little thought bubbles. Back and forth. Anyway. You know what? I felt like saying like, oh, this is a build order loss, but maybe I thought through some bad micro or some really slick mines, something like that, Scan would be able to sneak something out, but nope, diving the rest of his army in. I think he might have tried to do something a little bit more clever if there's something on the line, but again, this is just map testing. Creep colonies on the front door. And honestly, it would have been a very uphill battle regardless, period. But yeah, looks like we are seeing once again 12 Nexus for Khala, and it looks like we are seeing once again a 14 Command Center build from Scan. And it's just crazy. That's the other crazy thing, is like 14 Command Center is fairly risky generally. That's the other thing you can do on this map, honestly, is you can go with the regular timings on the barracks and the supply depot on the front, but you could maybe even opt to not go for a 14 Command Center and instead go for quick 2 factory, something like that. There's a lot of options for Terran. I don't know why you wouldn't want to go 14 Command Center, though. Again, it's like, hey, 14 Command Center's free. Khala might be able to get a scout out, and we've seen the difference in the matches when he's been able to sneak this scout into the base and when he hasn't. Probe going straight here, and I don't think Scan's going to have... Well, maybe. SCV's making its way across. This is going to be close. Can he get there? Blockading a little bit. Trying to pin it in the corner. And no. Wow. Blocking out that probe scout. Unfortunate. And the SCV blockading. Maybe if Khala did something similar with his probe, that might make a difference. Here's the thing, though. SCV's pretty strong units. They got that 60 health. So it's kind of like an open free fight like this. Probes oftentimes win because... Oh, no. Good micro. An open free... Basically, in open space, probes oftentimes win because they can kind of retreat, regenerate shields, and reattack. However... Oh, he is doing it. Yes! Blocking that front. But... SCVs oftentimes, when they have enough health, and actually I think that might have been calculated in Khalala's part, he's like, let's get you down to 35 health, so I know I have 40 health here comparatively, and you're not going to be able to get this scout in. He does have his ult there to blockade otherwise. Factory down. 3 SCVs on gas. So no quick third command center. And there is that initial Dragoon being produced, second assimilator. So we're seeing very similar builds thus far. The cybernetics core remains silent, though. Probably to get that Dragoon out a little bit faster, but I'm almost wondering if this suggests faster Robotech, or maybe even a fast third Nexus. We'll see. SCV is wandering out, looking for opportunities to sneak back in. And we'll see if that Zealot starts pressing that front door once he swaps around. We are seeing that early robotics facility, comparatively. And Scan going to go ahead and take additional gas right around the 4-minute mark. Yeah, having free 2 gas, nice. It's nice. Pylon going ahead and blockading that base. Although Scan has opted more for that mineral only. No Marines. Well, sorry, only a single Marine here. So, but not a lot of reinforcing unit. Oh, sorry, Zealot wandering up. So might be able to breach this front. Scan a little bit slow to react. Siege Tank's going to be a little bit late. I don't know that he has enough to kind of press this back, and the SCVs aren't coming off the line. So So Scan having to pull SCVs to blockade now the front. Might end up losing some... So redropping the supply depot. This is going to put Scan in the red, so this hurts early. And that was just a little bit of him dropping the keyboard, it felt like. Not getting the SCVs forward. Perhaps he didn't want to sacrifice more SCVs than he needed to. Rebuilding, having to have 5 or 6 SCVs off the line to provide that defense. Siege Tank now out. But early wins here for Khala. Another pylon, playing very aggressively here. Which will help deny information otherwise. He's got 2 gateways, has opted for an observatory. Sneaking back in with the Dragoons. This is a small... I wonder if he wants to go after that creep colony to kind of open things up. The Marine getting a little bit too aggressive and pressing forward. But with the amount of damage he's done, as much as he slowed Scan down, yeah, 2 gate into expansion. The Observer should be able to get into this base and get all sorts of eyes, because I do not see an engineering bay anywhere for Scan just yet. He's going to go for a quick command center, though, to follow this up. Perhaps seeing a lighter Dragoon count and Zealot count on the front door, realizing he's gone a little bit lighter. He's like, okay, the front door is breached. If he was going a bunch of gateways, he would have just pushed straight through. So instead, getting a command center down, probably going to get Siege Tech and use the Siege Tanks to kind of press out there and hold that. Unfortunately, is going to... Khala should get a quick economic boost briefly over this. There's Siege Tech upgrading, Comsat station. Observer already inside the base. We do have the 2 Goliaths being built, and this is... I have liked this from Scan, with the Goliaths picking off that early Observer. I'm almost wondering if he just keeps an eye on that Shimmer. The Goliaths are moving there. He's going to go ahead and free open that front door. The Goliaths actually might... We'll see if they swing back to go for this Observer or not. Scanning. Initial scan to go ahead and get a look at what's in his opponent's base. 4 gateways are there. Robotic support bay starting to warp in. There is a shuttle produced, which suggests we're going to see some form of harassment. Or at least something in the air to deal with something. Accidental attack on the barracks right there. It's floating out to provide some spotting. Some Dragoons moving their way across with that Observer. Nothing but Dragoons, which perhaps harass this 3rd base. I don't think they're going to get a lot accomplished there. The Observer wandering across to get a good look. There is that turret being built. So both players kind of defending up. 4 Zealots in this to perhaps do drops on top of those Siege Tanks. This is a smaller Siege Tank count. So this is what, 5 Siege Tanks? So 5 Siege Tanks. I don't think this is enough Dragoons to really press into this. Scan going ahead and clearing out that Observer over the 3rd. Khala, in reaction to this, is going to go ahead and take his 4th base. Dropping in. Siege Tanks on the low ground, right on top of there. And I take that back. Nice engagement from Khala. Without the Vultures and the Mines to support or to slow any of this down. Taking out all of the Siege Tanks on the low ground. That might be a very quick GG, because that is the last Siege Tank. There's plenty of Dragoons. Wow. Talk about a perfect engagement. SCV's providing some disruption on the low ground. But even with this, yeah, there's GG from Scan. What a great engagement. Wow. Let's pull this back. So Scan a little bit behind, just, yeah, not playing well from the start. But these tanks, yeah, so these tanks just sieging up. Weren't quite in siege position, and Khala recognizing it, able to jump right on top. Look at this. This critically getting wiped out very, very rapidly, and then just the perfect envelope otherwise, and the focus fire wiping everything out underneath. Just not enough defenses to really... That's kind of the risk of going for that quick 3rd like that. Just not enough. And the early glass, just not enough on the ground to defend. Shuttle, able to just dive in. Oof. Anyway, so Scan falling behind, Khala really capitalizing on it. Gonna move into Game 7. Hope you guys enjoyed it.